Today I'm working on a Volkswagen TDI, just doing an oil change, and this oil change kind of applies to other cars. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use a hammer and a razor knife. Okay, believe it or not, these are actually going to get used to make the oil change easier. I'm going to warm the car up, because you got to warm the car up so that way the oil gets the particles floating in it when it's hot. Then I'm going to, once it's warm, I'm going to change it from there. So. You didn't have to film me the whole way, so. But let's see for a second. All right, so far I got ramps. The car's on ramps. I'm letting it warm up. Got the oil filter. I got my oil change bucket, something to lay on, and my hammer and razor knife, and the oil filter wrench. All right, you can see the car is up to temperature. Get that in focus. Ignore my check engine light. I'll probably fix that sooner or later. Set your parking brake, just so your car doesn't roll away on the ramps or something stupid. You want to be safe. All right, so we're up to temperature. We can shut the car off and get ready to do the oil change. Every time I do oil change, I always seem to, make a mess, sorta. I've destroyed many pairs of pants, and my wife gets mad at me because I like to destroy pants. And you can see I'm wearing a ratty old sweatshirt, sleeves, and okay, so you can see I'm prepared. Got my gloves on. I got my farmer overalls, or whatever you want to call them. I kind of look hillbillish now. So this has saved me from getting chewed out by my wife by not destroying all my pants. So now I'm going to do the oil change. First, we're going to take this cover off. Move a little closer. I'm going to use a little screwdriver, get in here, pop these little covers off. We're not ready to get to using the hammer yet, so I'll show you how to use the hammer properly on Volkswagen. These bolts aren't the same because this has been worked on. It's got 225,000 miles on it, so they're different nuts. That's not from the manufacturer. It's just because of the age, and who knows how many people have worked on this over the years. So literally one size is different. Okay, so I got the bolts loose. I lift it up. I'm going to carefully slide it over the dipstick and push it through. So this is off. And the insulation's been gone for years, so the sound deadening not there. Put that aside. Okay, that's all we're going to do up here for right this second. Now we're going to go underneath, and I'll show you how, what I use the razor knife and the hammer for. Okay, I've already done this modification on the car, but what I did is about where the drain hole is, or the drain plug. It's kind of hard to see up in there. I cut a 3-inch by like 3-inch hole in the plastic, and really all I used to cut it was this razor knife, or a razor knife. You try to get as close to the hole. You don't want something crazy huge, the whole underside of the car, but this is going to save you a lot of headache in all the oil changes you're going to do in a Volkswagen, because you got this whole entire splash pan that allows the air to flow under the car neatly. And this has to normally come down every time you do oil change, but you just cut yourself a simple little hole. But now this is where the hammer comes into play. Hammer, block of wood, pretty much anything you have handy to do exactly what I'm going to do here. Take the hammer and you just prop it up underneath to the point where it'll stay. If this one will stay, I'll have to get a darn block of wood. Of course, I'm doing this one-handed under the car. Okay, so the purpose of doing this hammer to the ground wedge it pushes the plastic upwards to get it so you're literally right here is your drain plug. If I can cut the hammer in the way of the video. The drain plug is literally right here. That's your drain plug, and the oil, when it comes out, I'm actually probably going to move this again a little bit. The oil is going to come out, and if you don't push up on this, the oil is going to go right onto your drain pan here. So you want to push this up as best you can, and then it'll miss the splash pan underneath here and go right into the your drain pan. So kind of looks a little stupid, but it works. Okay, so I've got my drain pan underneath. I repositioned my hammer to hold this up properly, and I'll show you how I do my oil changes all the time. Now, this is a 19mm socket, so I'm gonna stick it on the drain plug, break the drain plug free. All right. Hopefully most of the oil will go underneath, not so much. I did this modification probably 10 years ago, and you know, I've been making these videos on YouTube for a little bit, and I figure, you know what, might as well share it with everybody. I don't know if anybody else has done this, and maybe they have, but I'm putting it on YouTube for everybody. Don't mind the cats running everywhere. So now I got, you know, be careful, the engine oil, the engine's up to temperature, so it's hot. You know, you don't want to stick your hand, I mean, I'm gonna get oil in my glove, but still, you don't want to get burnt by the oil coming out. So, can you see it okay, hon? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here goes the oil. It's gonna come out in a second here. And see how it clears? Clears the plastic, goes right in the pan, and when it's done draining, I'll put this back in.
No, Cinnamon.
Yes, Cinnamon, get away from the oil. So, I'll drain it all. Once it's all done, I'll put the drain plug back in, and then we'll go to changing the filter. But this makes life so much easier doing an oil change. Now that the oil is slowed down, it's dripping on my edge of the pan here, so I've got to move my pan back a little bit. When that oil first comes out, it'll shoot and it'll fill right up on the inside here. And it is like, it's not just a single layer here, it's actually like a square honeycomb material. If you've ever had this down, you know what it looks like on the inside. And you kind of have to approximate where your drain plug is to cut this hole. Alright, while the oil is draining, I'm just going to open the filter here. Just going to open it, let the air get into it to make sure every last drop of oil flows into the pan. Yeah, when I cracked the vent on the filter, it allowed air into the system, and I could have done the same thing with the oil cap. It allows air into it, but the filter is holding some oil in it. So once I popped it up, the oil is flowing into the pan and down. So I'm really getting every last drop of oil out of the car, because it slowed down to beyond a trickle. It was like a couple drops. So once I cracked that filter, it allows the last of the oil to flow out. So I'm getting every bit of oil out of the car, pretty much as much as you can. And as soon as it's done here, I'm gonna put the plug in, tighten it up, and then we'll go up top and finish up. Alright, so I'm done draining. I'm tightening up the drain plug here. Okay, makes life so much easier. So now that's done, I like to just kind of, maybe there's a little bit of oil here or there, whatever, you know, I just double check, wipe around. Alright, Now we'll go up to the top side. Here at the top side, pull the cap out, the filter. Yeah, you can hear still a little bit of oil on it. Just put that in the top of the drain pan. Always have handy dandy paper towels around. So, pause that for 1 second. Alright, so, we got our new filter here. And in the filter comes O-rings. 2 O-rings, a large one and a small one. Have to change the O-ring every time. So, put that aside. Take a little screwdriver. And on this cap, you can see the O-ring. It's hiding right here. Try not to gouge the plastic or anything like that. You just want to, it's kind of hard to see in this light, but can you see it? There's a groove here that O-ring rides in. So there's the little O-ring. And then in this groove here, without gouging the plastic, just work your O-ring around. So it's out. Okay, we got the O-rings off. Throw them in the oil pan for later cleanup. Of course, I'm making a mess on the car. You showing the mess?
Yeah.
You don't have to show. Yeah, here's the little, that's the top O-ring. Now, open the bag with the O-rings. Large O-ring. Put it on. Put it down the groove. Stretch it around. And it's in place. There's enough oil. There's enough oil around here to put on your O-rings, so that way they slide on easily. When you're tightening. You don't want those O-rings. If those O-rings are dry, when you put it in, it'll bunch them up. It could tear them. So there's enough oil in here to just wipe on your O-ring to make sure it's nice and slick. Okay, get that one. And we'll get out this little teeny tiny one. Don't drop this.
It smells like balloons.
Okay, I still have oil on my fingers, so I'm going to put the O-ring over the top. Kind of work it down. The gloves don't really help the picture here, but you can see it down around. It's in that groove. See the groove here? Can you see that? There's a groove here. Wipe the dirt on it. There's a little groove. That O-ring goes in that groove. It's oiled. Sit that there for a second. Use my gloves a little bit. Alright, pull your filter out. The filter has, it's pretty much the same end to end, but I want to say fram this side up. So a lot of filters when you buy it, it'll say this side up. This one only has fram, which, fram are okay. There's other brands I prefer. It just so happens it was on sale. Put your filter in. Okay. You stop the video. Okay, so filter's seated inside, and this is all set to go. The O-rings are lubricated, so you just put this in, screw it down. My fingers are all oily from this. tight as you can get by hand. And that should be good. Next, put the oil in it, put this little cover back on, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, we're going to put it down over the dipstick here. Should just kind of slide right down easily. Position. Tighten it up. Snapping the caps back on. Caps. All right, now the cap, funnel, make sure it's clean. Right there, going down to the engine. Now I've used Mo1 Synthetic Extend for pretty much the life of the vehicle. It's not diesel oil, but you know what? It likes it all the same. And the other thing is in these, I like to punch a hole and a hole, so I can pour and it'll vent and it won't go glug glug glug. You know, it'll just pour nice. You know, to get a nice pour because it has a vent, it just won't chug out of it. Now this engine basically takes 5 quarts. This is a gallon here, so I'll put this whole gallon in, and then I'll probably put a half a quart, start the car, check it. I'll bring it right up to full in the oil. You can see how I have it pouring out. It vents and it pours. Okay, so we started, we let the oil circulate for a minute, and we're going to check the level, and you don't have to check the level and see if we got to top it off, or if it's pretty close to where it's going to be, and that's it. You know, we're right in the safe zone. You can't, it's so black and dark out here, but it's safe. We're good. Our oil change is done. One oil change done, made easier. That's it. Okay, we're basically done here, and I'm gonna take the emergency brake off, and I'm gonna back it down off the ramps. Alright, we're off the ramps. And the last thing you can do to make yourself seem professional, you get yourself little service stickers to put, you know, up on your windshield. It just makes life a little easier. Write the date, the mileage, and all that, and stick it there on your window. It feels a little more professional doing it yourself at home, and you know, they're only a couple bucks for, I think I got like 50 of them on eBay for like $5. So check it out. Thank you for watching the video, and hope this helps you out.